Well, I just want to say thank you for allowing us to be able to spend this time with you. It's honestly a great pleasure. Texston's been around for a very long time, and what you've been doing is really innovative the industry. So thank you again for allowing us to take this time with you to ask you these questions.
It is definitely my pleasure, and thank you for doing it, and I'm happy to be here.
If you were talking to someone just stepping into the lime plaster world today, what's one piece of wisdom that you would share that you wish that you'd known at the very start?
Oh, definitely. Lime plaster is not only decorative plaster, it's about a system. During the years, we developed system for wet area, system for extreme weather condition for exterior, system for shower stall and for steam room, which we're doing a lot. It's got to be a system. It's not only a layer of the finish coat, it's all the layer underneath and the method of the layer, which need to be according to industry standard plus our input as well. Most of the project in the last few years, we were involved in the envelope to produce a more stable layers underneath envelope system, which help reducing the cracks appearance in the lime finish. That means that there's no such of this thing, no cracks. We have lots of material. We have material that is, as I mentioned before, that is flexible, but still no one can guarantee against cracks because cracks could happen for so many reasons, include thermal expansion, include dead load, include vibration on the hardscape outside. And we have lots of things that are in writing format that we actually recommend when you're working on envelope system, what not to do and what to stay away. For example, if you have structure that you want to do outside the finish, you want to make sure that all the dead load is on the building, meaning if the roof is not finished yet, at least the roof tile should be laying down in a pallet size method on the roof. So all the dimensional changes happen before, because of the dead load, before you putting the envelope system. And that includes the drywall, the tile, the floor tile, and all that should be in the building before.
So it should be like activated into the environment where it's going to be.
Yes. Yes, and also another one is eliminating cement slab to touch the foundation of the building, which many people do that. You want to have expansion joint on between the cement slab and the foundation of the building. Also, the hardscape vibration, you want to create all that before you're doing the envelope system. So
beautiful answer. Everyone who's listening, that's going to listen to this answer that you just gave, is going to get so much information behind it.
Thank you. I hope so, yeah.
So let's move on to the next question. Looking back, what was one of the biggest challenges in bringing the lime plaster into the United States market, and how did you overcome it?
Import and export have its own challenging that everyone experiences, no matter what, if you bring clothing or you bring building material. But one challenge was in international shipment, they claim that the slick lime plaster is caustic. In order to prove to them that it's not caustic, we had to take it to the lab and going through some testing, and then we got the bill of health from the lab saying that it's not caustic.
And for the viewers watching, would you explain caustic?
Caustic is a material that actually would eat and destroy metal canister with high pH, acidic.
So basically toxic.
Yes.
That wouldn't be able to be shipped in a container or a bucket.
Exactly, yes. Even though, on slick lime plaster, you don't want to mix like metallic flake in it because actually it will eat metallic because of its high pH. Right. But again, it's not caustic to eliminate shipment, international shipment, and that's what happened. So that was a big challenge because they actually stopped a big shipment for us that they claimed that it's caustic, and
But you got that settled.
We got it settled and we have all the paperwork for that. So that was challenge. Another challenge is to get enough product in stock for future projects, because when we importing materials, sometimes it's 30 days to 45 days until we're getting the shipment. So we need kind of be ahead of the game with our stock inventory. You know, this facility, we don't have enough space to hold all our inventory. So we have another storage facility where we store the additional inventory that we have on product, like I mentioned, water retention. Also, when we tinting material, we have what we call a consistency chart. It's actually a piece of carton which have like 36 boxes, and every bucket that we mix, we're taking a dab from the box and we're putting in a box on this consistency chart. And let's say it's number 1, and the bucket will write number 1. Let's say we're shipping all the material, and the next day when everything is dries, we see actually number 23 is a little bit off. So we're going to contact the applicator and tell them bucket number 3, use it as a first coat because it's a little bit off. And many times it saved us from issue on the job site, meaning we get a call from a job site, say, I'm looking at the bucket and they look 2 different colors. What's the number on the bucket? Number 64. And we have all those. If it's more than 1 pallet, we have even more ability to put more dots by going number. So let's say number 66 bucket. So we ask him, so take the number 66. We're looking 66 looking like the rest. So on our end, it looking okay. So we ask the applicator, just take it up from 66 and other and let it dry and see if it's the same. We're getting a call back. Yeah, it's the same, because sometimes when you're looking at a bucket,
they look
they could they could look different. I had the issue in Cabo San Lucas. We had the Marmarino order, like 2 containers. It was like almost $1 million order of Marmarino. Of course, we did all the consistency chart, and we had, I don't know how many, 100 consistency chart or even more. And then I'm getting a call from the designer which specified that from Cabo San Lucas, actually panicking, telling me the color has like a pink haze to it. I checked right away the consistency chart. It looked white because the color was white. We tinted it white. We always recommend, even if the base material is white, to tint it white because it brings everything together, even if the raw material is a little bit different. And that's what we did in this project, and we checked all the consistency chart. Everything looked white. With the right light, we're looking for pink. There is no pink. So I took everything in my luggage and I flew to Cabo San Lucas to meet with all the team over there. Project manager, the owner rep, the architect. And as I'm coming over there, I asked him, where is the plaster? I said, oh, it's over here. So they actually left all the bucket outside, and you know, Cabo San Lucas, the ground is red. Lots of dust in there, the dust sitting on top of the bucket, and some of the lids of the bucket were open because they really didn't pay attention of keeping it in a safe place. So the first thing I asked them, keep everything in under the ground in the building, and that's what they did, and clean all the bucket from the top. So what happened is the dust got into the bucket and it was really pink.
Just a little bit of color was tinted.
Exactly. So they redo all those apartments that were pink, and they didn't have this problem anymore because everything was stored in the right place. So that was interesting.
That is interesting.
So that's where our consistency chart really helped us, because I knew when I flew over there that this is not our problem. Right. Something happened.
Yes.
And I need to find out what happened.
You went out there, you investigated, you seen the environment and how it was being acclimated, how it was being kept, and then you figured out that it was all the red dust that was sitting on the lids, and mix it a little bit of, that was enough to tint the color.
Oh yeah. Nevertheless, they really felt stupid.
I'll move on to your next question. How does it feel to know you were one of the first ones who really introduced and to start distributing lime or slate plaster in the United States, and now to see it, how much the industry has grown because of that?
It's been a long journey. It's been like 26 years already been passed. Saying that, I want you to know that 26 years ago, I was younger.
Yeah,
I was, yeah. You too, right?
Yeah, well, me too, just a little bit. Back in the day, I remember you applied the plaster. I remember that. Yeah.
Exactly. So the beginning was where not too many people knew how to handle the plaster on real job site. I had my own crew, and that's also how I learned real job situation, and that's what giving me the ability to consult on site and before on a planning to consult about the application process.
That's what we as applicators today love about you, Ofer. Even though a lot of the applicators that purchase products from you didn't know or don't know that you were an applicator. That's how you got your start. You were an applicator. You were an artistic plasterer prior to you starting this. So you had plenty of experience before you even started this.
I did, and actually we decided to stop with application process because we found out that actually we're competing against our customers, and it was a business decision that either we manufacturing product or we doing application. We decided to stay in method of doing the distribution, development of new product, a combination, and also creating finishes. And when we're creating finishes, of course, we record all the method of how we created the finishes, and we transfer it through workshops or through written information, and also through video clips, how to do those applications.
So application systems that you created along with the materials and the finishes all together, it's like one big science project that you started.
It is.
Yeah,
It is. Yeah. Yes.
The growing demand for moisture-resistant finishes, especially in showers and wet areas, how has Texston's products evolved to meet that need? And also, are there particular innovations you're especially proud of in that area?
We learned a lot during the years. I think about 20 years ago, I got a telephone from my wife from Hinchcliffe, which is a customer of ours until today, using lots of our product, and especially in Hawaii, is using the Ortex high performance stucco color coat for exterior houses in Hawaii because it's holding a lot longer than any other finishes that they have. And he called me like 20 years ago and asked me, can I use it in a shower stall? So I told him, I don't know.
We'll find out though.
So he started to use it in the shower stall, and a few years later, I came to visit him, and he said, do you want to see some shower stalls? So we went through a few projects, and it was amazing outcome. Based on his experience and based on industry standard, we started to build our system. The main thing that we have on a shower stall that we learn is to educate the end user of shower stall steam room application. The end user need to know what to do. For example, we highly recommend not to use any tray on the shower stall over plaster because the tray will collect moisture and the moisture will stay there. So we have a complete information sheet that actually explained exactly to the end user what not to do. Like, don't use those floor mat if you have a lime plaster on the floor. Don't use a floor mat with a suction cup because the suction cup will store moisture over there for a long time, and that could cause damage. Using plaster in a shower stall, the advantage is that you don't have any joint and seamless and monochromatic, one finish with no grout joint or anything like that in one hand. The other hand is need to follow some basic rules, like make sure that the shower environment has enough ventilation to let the moisture out. Even if you have tiles or ceramic tiles and you have a shower with no ventilation, you're going to have some mold issue. So that's part of what we have in our information. You see, our plaster is water permeable. Okay, on top of the plaster, we're using a little bit new technology with the old method. So on top of the plaster, we're using SDS penetrating sealer, which is a water-based sealer. On top of it, we're using traditional soap of Marseille or Cerawax, which both of them are olive soap base wax, which traditionally used as a maintenance layer. Saying that, not every penetrating sealer can be top coated. So there are some penetrating sealer that you cannot top coat. Our SDS 15 and SDS 7.5 can receive additional layer.
That's great because it breathes. It needs to breathe, right?
Exactly.
The moisture needs to go in, penetrate, and then
And gas
evaporate.
off, evaporate from the surface, exactly. And of course, the system also involves waterproofing that is done behind the layers, but we have it all in writing information, and we have a technical drawing going over traditional scratch and burn hard coat or going over a direct apply plaster finish.
I like to use a lot of RPA.
Yes, the
Doesn't matter
RPA is
what
the, yeah.
RPA is some of the best stuff out there. It's like the best.
We really are not trying to save 20 cents, 50 cents on each bucket like big company do, because every cent count. We are actually aiming for the most high quality product in the market, and that's what we do.
Right, and as an applicator, if you spend a little extra money, like on RPA, to put it in and put an extra RPA in it if you have to, it ends up saving you money down the line if you have to redo a shower, because that gets more expensive.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And we have instruction of what will be the most efficient way to use that for the first coat and for the last coat, a different ratio.
Right, so you have a system put in place that can actually explain it to an applicator.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
We'll move on to the next question.
Okay.
What keeps you, so this one's like, I want to know this too. What keeps you personally inspired and motivated in this craft after all of these years?
So this is really a good question, and I have a very simple answer. I love it.
Yeah.
I just love it. I love the creation. I love the challenges, creating new finishes and new approach. Sometimes we're getting all kind of requests that we've never done before. We're kind of creating it with our team at the studio. We have a very talented team, and we're coming up with, most of the time, we're coming up with what the customer or the designer or the applicator requested us to do. And not only that, we're also providing the step to get there.
A few more questions.
Sure, I'm here to answer. I feel like FBI investigation.
No, this is not FBI. This is more about helping, the industry, everyone in the industry know what it is that goes behind the scenes, how your creativity continues to just expand, after all these years.
We are, yes. We were involved with lots of high-profile projects that we are very proud of. And one amazing high-profile project that we involved, not only in the United States, also in South America, like Chile and Cayman Island, Argentina. It's Victoria's Secret.
Right.
So Victoria's Secret, I think you were involved also in Victoria's Secret. Yeah, so the thing that amazing me with Victoria's Secret, that they didn't change the finish for 25 years. So for 25 years, we have same VPC number for Victoria's Secret, only on exterior. Lately, we were involved with Victoria's Secret pink inside the store with the pink color, but mainly it's the exterior store that we involve until today. Every day we have Victoria's Secret project somewhere either in the United States or South America.
I did a couple myself in Texas, so
Okay.
the nice stores. And those are basically VPC numbers that you've stored in the system for 25 years?
Yes, yes, the Victoria's Secret.
That wasn't something that was new, that was recent, right? That was something you've already...
Yes, yes. It's a finish we developed for Victoria's Secret because of the color.
Right.
It's kind of white, but it's pink white. Very, very subtle pink. You barely see the pinkish color in it.
See it. It's very, very subtle.
We had a Victoria's Secret like a year year ago, I got a call from the Cayman Island. They had a Victoria's Secret with metal panel on all the exterior of Victoria's Secret, and they wanted to do Tuscany over the metal plaster. So we have a method to go directly over the metal plaster on exterior and this environment, and they did it. Actually, a crew from Los Angeles flew
Went to
there.
the Cayman Islands?
And
Really?
actually, Sasha was involved in
Sasha
that
was
too,
involved in it. Nice.
in this Cayman Island project, doing the treatment for the metal plaster and then the Tuscany. For the Victoria's Secret, we actually created a finish of Victoria's Secret over aluminum, and we kind of put it in the freeze, a deep freeze for like 2 weeks. And then we took it out and we torched it, the back of the metal, to see if any damages, and we bend it. And only then we told them, yes, we can do that.
So do you have a team of chemists that work for you that you go and you meet with and you sit down with them and you tell them what's going on? And you give them
I'm always consulting with a chemist, and also we're doing our experiment over here, and then we send it for testing.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next question.
Okay.
When it comes to maintaining quality and authenticity in this craft, what's your golden rule or guideline principle?
I think there is no company like Texston that have QC in place, quality control. We believe that working with people, mistake can happen, but we don't want this mistake to be found on the job site. So we want to find the mistake before we shipping to the job site. And that include color consistency, that include water retention and other parameters. I myself, in the manufacture stage, I kind of created a QC, quality control program in the facility for our product. And not only that, when we get the material here before it's going to the storage, over here we also have quality control. We do testing.
We'll move on to our final question. As your position in this company as a technical director, what comes to mind right now? Perhaps the funniest misunderstanding of the process or one of your technical calls?
Oh boy, we had few. I remember two right now. One time I'm getting a call from a person that took workshop. In the workshop, we explained them that, after the first coat, he was working on Tuscany, but that's good for most of the plaster. When you're going to apply the second coat on your first dry coat, you want to kind of damp the surface in order to slow the suction of the product, and in order to get kind of longer open time when you smooth and burnish and apply the plasters, you don't get cold joints. So we recommend to not really wet the first coat of the plaster, but kind of damping it. And this guy was in the workshop. We had a 3 days workshop, did many different samples, but he probably got confused. And then he called me. He had the Tuscany job, probably about 300 square feet. And he told me that when he applied the plaster, the Tuscany, it's just falling off the wall. What's wrong with your product? Whenever we have an issue, I have lots of questions. Sometimes people don't understand that my question actually gonna reveal the issue.
Right.
I'm asking, what did you do? I mixed the material and then I applied it on the surface. So I said, wait a minute. You didn't start like that. First of all, you mask off the Jason panel, right? He said, yes. So I told him, tell me exactly what you did. So he said, okay, so I mask off the Jason panel. Then I did the primer, the Texston primer. I said, you did the Texston primer over what? He said, over a joint compound, right joint compound that was prepared to level 3. I said, that's fine so far. So what did you do after? He said, I apply the primer, 2 coats of the primer. Okay, and what did you do after? So after that, I damped the surface. And I applied the Tuscany. I said, well, stop over here. You cannot damp the primer because the primer is actually there to equal the suction of the substrate. It's not really absorbing. And the only reason for the damping is the first coat of the Tuscany, not the primer. That's why when you're putting the Tuscany over wet primer, it was slipping off the surface. So we got that resolved. Another one was really funny. We had a dealer in Seattle. He called me all panicking. He said, listen, we sold like 35 buckets of Terra. Those days we had the Terra in buckets. Yeah, you remember that? And he said we sold 35 buckets, and contractor went to the job site and they opened the lid and it's hard like a rock. So I said, what do you mean? It's not powder? He said, no, it's like totally dry. Tell me, what did you do? So he said, he came to pick up the material. I said, what did you do before he came to pick the material? He said, oh, before he picked up the material, we mixed the material. He forgot that the path life of mixing cement limestone base product is like any other cement product, which is good for 2 to 3 hours. They wanted to give good service to the applicator, so he doesn't need to mix it on the job site. We'll mix it the day before. That was funny.
That is funny.
And of course, I have few, but that's maybe for next time.
Yes, Ofer, we appreciate you like doing this. This is for me. It's just like, it's an honor to be able to talk to you in person. And
yeah, this is really exciting. I really love it. And I want to tell you that I am about 73 years old and I'm going to retire. So I want you to know that if you're calling here and you don't find me, you'll know I'm retired. So maybe you want to write the date when I'm retiring. In 25 years.
In 25 years.
Yes.
That's
okay.
Good. That's good to know.
We don't just sell the product. We really care about the project. And we appreciate people and subcontractors that care about it, because we met lots of subcontractors that don't care.
It's important for anyone who's doing this to make sure if you're going to deliver a product and a finish, you have to do it. You have to take pride in what you're doing.
We have happiness and excitement about any project. We love those applicators, installers that care and willing to put the extra effort. That's what we love, working with those people. And we appreciate everyone that putting their extra effort, and like you.
Yeah. Thank you, Ofer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.